AskReddit. Men of Reddit, what instantly turned you off a woman? I thought maybe we could try an open relationship after I caught her fucking one of my friends. Her daughter asked her for permission to go to a friend's house. She told her daughter to ask me for permission. We had only been dating for a month and I had only met the kid once. I had never seen a 9-year-old cringe before. That was your cue to step up with the true dad response. Ask your mother. Told her friend in public that my mom was stupid and made fun of her for 20 minutes. She didn't know my mother's friend was sitting next to her in the restaurant and heard the whole thing. We were in college and in a different town, which made the whole experience for her that much more unfortunate. I was done, particularly because my mom was nothing but the kindest person to her and made every effort to make her feel welcome when she visited. My second date with this one girl was going to a Christmas party of mutual friend. After we were there for a little while, she started talking to this other guy and they went to some corner where no one else could interrupt them and talked for an hour. When they were done talking, she immediately told me she was leaving and up and bounced. Totally turned me off, so I didn't talk to her again for a while. A month later she reached out and was like, "Why haven't you called me?" I was kind of dumbfounded that she would actually ask. I didn't have anything else going on at the time, so I figured we could try again, but the Christmas party left such a bad taste in my mouth I couldn't even feign interest. I had a girlfriend recently, only lasted about 7 months, and this is one of the reasons I, in the end, couldn't stand her. Every time she talked about something and I thought she finished speaking and I started to speak, she continued speaking, but in slightly louder tone, as if I rudely interrupted her. And if I happened to do it again, she just went from loud to louder. Her speaking pattern was filled with pauses, so it was very easy to mistake one of those pauses for a finished sentence. Instant clinginess. We went out, had a great date and some light fun at her place. She called me the next day while I was out with a friend. I didn't answer. She then called me over and over again until I finally answered. We are talking about 10 to 15 calls in a row, and when I answered I asked if anything was wrong. Since she kept calling, she said no and said she just hates texting and prefers talking on the phone. I had to calmly explain to her I was out with a friend and if I don't answer, I will call you back. But calling me over and over makes me think it's an emergency. We tried one more date, but at that point it was awkward and I was no longer invested. Also had one girl text me over 130 times in one day after one date. It was worse because we worked at the same place, albeit different departments. It surprised me in both cases. I thought they were out of my league. When she thought the appropriate response to me saying something she didn't agree with was a slap across the face. She had gotten into a fight with her friend because of something she was completely in the wrong about. I made the mistake of calling her out on it. Oh, I have a strong policy on this. A girl gets one warning not to face slap me again. If it ever happens again, I walk right the fuck out of the situation and never speak to them again. I don't give a flying fuck if it's in jest or not that hard. I had one relationship where I literally became a black and blue punching bag and another where the I'm joking slaps left my face sore for days. They both started out playful and quickly progressed to abusive, and that's not a fucking game. I don't hit you in the face for any reason. You do not hit me in the face for any reason. I don't give a shit how angry you are. Desperation. It's a common internet meme for men to be desperate and scare women away. Let me tell you, it happens the other way as well. I met a girl online who was pretty, had a good job, kind, generous, and was overall a solid catch. The problem she had was that she was way too desperate to find a partner. I'm not even saying she was the kind of girl who had the relationship mapped out in stages. That is, date 8 months, married in 16 months, kids by 24 months. Those girls exist too. But this girl was just desperate for a partner. She was pursuing the idea of coming home to her partner, cooking him dinner, making him lunch, sitting on the couch in sweats eating popcorn. Basically, she was in love with the idea of being in love. All those things are great goals for a relationship that you can aspire to over time. Not so much something to pursue or dream of on the first or second date. not being able to stay off your phone. I'm on a date to talk to you, not watch you track your followers. Had a girl I dated, and we were pretty into each other. One day she got extremely upset with me for saying something pretty innocuous because it reminded her of something from her past. I said I'd remember not to bring that up in the future and apologized, though that didn't seem to suffice. It appeared I was to be punished or treated poorly for it. I asked if I could get a pass on this, as there was no way I could have known what I said would have bothered her, but no. I asked her if there was anything else that really set her off like this, and she said yes, though I'd have to find out on my own. I asked if there was anything I could do in the future to avoid upsetting her or causing one of these situations, and again she angrily said no. I was getting a little perturbed by this point and asked if she was really blaming me for saying something harmless that I had absolutely no idea would set her off that way, and she said yes. So I tried to reason with her one last time. So you're telling me that there is a minefield out there, that you know where all the mines are, but refuse to tell me, and that if I step on one of these and it goes off, it is my fault and I should be punished as a result. Indeed she did. We were supposed to go out for supper, but I told her I wasn't hungry, got in my car and went home. If you're going to create the path and conditions of failure for our relationship, you can trust that I will find the shortcut every time. This is what my coworker did to me. Asked me out. We went out. She danced with other dudes and then came back to the table with 2 drinks and set them down and started drinking. I assumed the other one was for me and took a swig. She looked annoyed at me and asked me if that was mine. Then she looked exasperated and came back with another drink and explained to me she was trying to pick up this dude and took her 2 drinks over to some guy's table. I gathered my shit to leave and she stopped me before I hit the door, saying that if this guy didn't want to take her home she would need a ride. Still I just nodded and left. Stopped talking to her altogether. Later on she wrote me a note saying stuff like, "Why haven't we followed up? And I thought we liked each other," and so on. She couldn't understand why I lost interest in her. We were in college together. She was pretty with long red hair and dressed like a model. She liked to take walks in snowstorms and sing old Irish songs. She would wink at me while we were in a crowd when she was bullshitting someone else. She would sometimes ask me, weirdly, if I thought that she were a bad person. I always said, no, of course not. Then one evening as I was standing with her in line at the checkout desk of the library, she referred to the classmate in front of us as a dumb N-word. It felt like the blood instantly drained out of me. I looked at her and she winked at me the old way. I stuttered and said that I had forgotten one last book, but instead of climbing the stairs again I made my way through the library and out into the night, feeling soiled by her words. I ran through the dark to my rooming house a mile away, but still felt bad. We never dated again. Why did you do that, Hope? Why? Bad attitudes. Met a girl online once. She seemed cool. Met her in person and she immediately starts off, "This is the kind of Mustang you drive?" And I'm not exaggerating, she said it as rudely as possible. So I asked her to get out and she refused. "Fuck that, you owe me a movie. We are going to see a movie. Shitty car or not." I had to throw her purse out the window to get her the fuck out of my car. Edit. It was a 96 GT. It was a shitty Mustang, but that's besides the point. That's just bad manners and this lady drove a goddamn Gia. Edit 2. Jesus. 310 upvotes. Not sure if you guys just like Mustangs or if the story was that good. I'm humbled. Have a good day, y'all. We literally met each other 2 days ago, and I wouldn't text her while I was at work the following day, so she had a meltdown and her mom started texting me asking what I did wrong. Didn't even know this girl at all. Edit. I was 19 at the time and this girl was 18. I work with her at a retail store. Anyways, she messaged me on a Monday mornings like 7. We started talking and whatnot, and she FaceTimed me out of nowhere. So we FaceTimed for an hour or so, then I had to go to work. Later that day she came and sat with me on my lunch break and the vibe was off. I didn't really feel a connection, so I just was being more of a friend. The next day a coworker comes up to me and says, "So I hear you and blank out talking?" I said I don't even know her last name. Coworker starts laughing. The girl texted me later that night and says, "So I guess this means we are talking." Since coworker knows our lie day, I don't even know your last name, and that set her off apparently cause 5 minutes later she replies, but it's her mom asking what I did wrong, because the girl is having a meltdown. I met her Monday morning, and by Tuesday evening I blocked contact. Breaking up with me. I'm sorry, but if you dump me, that's it. Relationship over.